Hey, what's going on? It's Mike Barnes, the financial first responder. Hey, had a question for you today. I'm on my way to the gym, going to the gym. Imagine that. So I'm on my way to the gym. And my question is, are you consistent or not consistent in your activities? Now, what do I mean by that? I had to go to the bank today. I'm not going to name the bank. And the person that I was working with was kind of flustered. I came in, to be perfectly honest, my account got hacked. I had to get a new credit card. Thankfully, they didn't charge anything on that particular card. I monitor my balances pretty regularly, like every day. And it got me thinking, if I wasn't consistent, and this happened to me about 2 weeks ago, by the way. If I wasn't consistent in looking at where I am financially, would I have caught it? Now, remember we talking about consistency. Consistency or not consistent. I am consistent in looking at my balances every day across all platforms, all accounts. That means from leverage, or as you people would call it, debt. I call it leverage because either I can leverage someone else's money or they can leverage me. I choose to leverage other people's money. And I started thinking about how good God is, because God told me when I got a call from a certain organization that I need to freeze my account real quick. And, I investigate and have been investigating all types of different people for fraud, all different things. And so I literally, spidey senses just went up, right? Or the hairs on the back of my neck went up, whatever you want to call it, or God's intuition, I should say. And I immediately froze my account. Individual called me and said, hey, your account has been compromised. I need you to go in and check, make sure. Oh yeah, by the way, what's the not the password, but what's the key numbers? And they tell you on the website, don't give the key numbers. But because I thought that this was the actual company, I didn't pay attention to that, and they got me. Now, they didn't get me for anything, any money, because my particular bank knew my patterns, my transactions, and immediately they froze my account. And thank God that's not the only account I use. Happened to be really one of my credit cards. But I know my spending habits, so I look at them consistently. So whether you're looking at your bank account, your IRAs, your crypto, and you really should look at your crypto daily, because you need to know whether you're up or down and whether you can actually sustain that type of loss, because it's very risky. You need to look at the type of investments that you have, whether they're brokerage, whether they're notes, what have you, wherever you are investing or lending your money, you need to actually look at that daily. So going back to this consistency thing, some of you, the reason why tragedies happen to you financially is because you are not consistent in what you do with your accounts. I remember a long time ago working in a bank. It's no longer in existence, but I used to work at First Union, which became Wachovia, which became Wells Fargo. And one of the things that we would do is we would actually balance people's checking accounts or savings accounts, depending on what they came in with, to their bank statements. Now, that was a service that we actually charged for, because we send you your actual statements, which your statements tell you your debits and credits. So now a debit is something that is subtracted. A credit is something that is added. And it never ceased to amaze me how many people didn't understand that they didn't have enough money coming in, but they would actually use their card. Now, I remember a time when you could actually keep using your card because the balance was being shown and it wasn't directly reflected in your balance. But they corrected that because I think some of the banks got sued because they were allowing people to go over the limit or basically depleting their account by showing them an erroneous balance. Now, so if you're old enough to remember that, and some of you are and some of you not, we had a checkbook, and the checkbook had a register. And so now, because we use these things that I'm holding in my hand right now, a cell phone, iPhone, Android, Galaxy, whatever it is you got, right? We tend to do our banking and all of our investing and everything we do between a handheld device, a tablet, or a laptop or a desktop, depending on who you are, right? And so if you are not consistent in looking at those accounts, and this happens very, very much all the time. It happened to my mother. It happened to my daughter. And not that they weren't looking at their accounts. It's just someone basically conned them out of money. And, a long time ago, I was conned out of money when buying Bitcoin because I was new to the crypto market, didn't really understand. And, thank God it was only maybe $1,500, $2,000 I lost. But, that was way back then. That was probably, I would say that was probably 2019 maybe, when I was just really learning about crypto. Now, mind you, people have been in crypto for a long time. So I'm saying to you that depending on what the investment opportunity is, you need to have a level of understanding when you're doing it. And you need to learn more about what you're doing. Everybody always talks about, hey, you can do this, you can do that, you can make money over here, you can da-da-da-da-da. As a financial advisor, we highly recommend that you understand what you got. And I'm going to put it this way. If it's not easy enough for you to understand like a third grader or a fifth grader of what you're doing, you probably shouldn't be doing it. Now, back on this consistency and non-consistency. In any investment choice you make, whether it's in your local bank, that could be in a CD, certificate of deposit, it could be in a regular checking account, a savings account, a high interest savings account, it could be in an IRA, individual retirement account, it could be an annuity, which is a life insurance product where basically they pay you out a certain amount over time. It could be in your 401k, it could be in your 403b, it could be in your 457, it could be in a SEP, a SARSEP, a simple plan. It could be in all different types of investments, right? So some of y'all may know those because you use those, right? Most of my first responders have IRAs, traditional, which means it's pre-tax, Roth, meaning that it's after-tax money, but the money is going to earn tax-free over time. Versus the pre-tax, you're getting the deduction on the front end, but then you're going to be taxed like crazy at the back end, right? At least that's how they should explain it to you. Because taxes go up over time. That should be kind of common knowledge, but we're not going to assume that. So I'm saying to you about your consistency here. If you consistently not pay attention to your balances, not understand what you're doing financially, not working towards getting better, remember we're back to that becoming who you want to be, doing what you need to have what you want. It's that be, do, have, right? And if you are not doing that, then your financial situation is really your fault. And I know people say, well, they don't teach this in school and they don't teach that. I can tell you right now, I got a master's in business administration and finance. And a lot of the stuff that they taught in school, formulas, things of that nature, I didn't learn those things until I actually had to do practical app. Meaning I learned a lot of it as a financial advisor because I was advising clients and I was showing them ways to do stuff so that they could strategically invest for the future. Now, remember we talked about if we had people that were 25 to 65, and the raw numbers are this, that you're going to have one person that's going to be wealthy, 4 people that are going to be rich. You're going to have 54 people that are going to be broke from 25 to 65. At 65, they're broke. And then I know you're saying, well, wait a minute, that's only 59 people out of 100 people. Well, I hate to tell you, the other 41, those people are dead. So in a group of 100 people, and we're going to say males, because women usually tend to live longer because they take better care of themselves, because they're consistent with going and getting their hair done and their nails done and the massages and chiropractor and going to the doctor and getting their annual checkups and things of that nature. Men, unfortunately, we don't think that stuff is necessary until we're about to kill over. See, women are consistent in their health. In most cases, they're consistent in their eating. Men, we just eat whatever we want to eat, drink what we want to drink, and we think everything's going to be fine. We smoke what we want to smoke. Consistency. So if you're consistently doing bad habits, guess what you're going to have? A bad habit. If you're consistently tracking and doing the things that you need to do to be successful, whatever it is in your life, then you have consistency. Now, I've been talking to some of y'all about, and some of you may not know this, but I actually have an application which helps people financially called the Financial Positioning System. And what it requires you to do is be accountable to your finances. Because what you guys expect us to do is meet you once a year and tell you everything's going to be all right, like a doctor's visit. We take the blood work, which is we're looking at your accounts. We do your blood pressure, which is looking at basically what is in your accounts. What did you have revenue? Did you have cash flow? We're looking at your investment statements. We're looking at your real estate holdings. We're looking at all that stuff. And unfortunately, fortunate for y'all, but unfortunate that you only have that analysis once a year. Well, what the financial positioning system does is it allows you to see your stuff on a daily basis in one place. It's amazing. I don't know why more people wouldn't use the system. Oh, I know why. Because you're not willing to pay for it. You'll pay $1,000 for a vehicle payment, car payment, but you won't pay the actual subscription fee, which is nowhere near your car payment. And your car is a depreciating asset. At least this would help you get some appreciating assets, and it would tell you up front whether you're doing right or wrong. So I'm not here to give you a sales pitch. I'm just going to say, if you're interested in the financial positioning system, DM me. Because this is not for everybody. It's not for people who spend all their money, live paycheck to paycheck, don't care because they think because they make 6 figures that they're okay. Well, we know, especially up here in the DC, Maryland, Virginia region, that your job could be gone tomorrow. Ask some of these federal employees that have been making money for years. Hardly having to worry about not having a job. Didn't have that traditional, well, if I don't produce, I still make money. I work for the government. I've had plenty of people tell me that. And guess what? Now the rooster has come to roost. Now accountability is being held to the government. Which, for taxpayers, that's an actual good thing, especially middle class. Because middle class and poor people pay more taxes than rich people, wealthy people. Why? Because Wealthy people go get a strategist, a tax strategist. Wealthy people actually go and get better as far as their education and find out the things that they need to have so that they don't have to pay all the taxes. I remember when our president, during his first term, and y'all can say he ain't my president, I didn't vote for him. Guess what? He is your commander-in-chief, whether you like it or not. Whether you voted for him or not, it don't matter. He is the president. So, with that said, you can either let that affect you, or you can do the things that he did and others have done to change their financial future. And one of the things is that they know that poor people and middle class people don't know is if you don't have a side hustle, a business, if you're not investing in assets, not liabilities, assets, you can't write that stuff off. The tax code is based on entrepreneurs, real estate holders, and people who actually create wealth. I said it. Yes, I did. I said it. Now, if you don't like what I said, I'm sorry. But the truth of the matter is, it's the truth. And the truth shall set you free. I remember watching with my father. We would watch Sanford and Son. And Esther would call Fred Sanford, would say, "You a fish-eyed fool." He was like, "Yeah, but I ain't ugly like you." See, some of y'all, your finances are so ugly that regardless of how beautiful you are, it don't matter. You's ugly. So I need you to start changing the way you do business, the way you operate. Stop expecting these big organizations, and I'm not going to name any names, but these banks, they do fractional banking. And if you don't know what fractional banking, I'm about to tell you. So fractional banking is this. They can literally take, let's say that you have $100,000 in the bank. They can literally take your $100,000, leave 10 in there and loan out 90. They're always worried about a run on the bank, which means if the dollar fell, people are going to go to the bank and try to get their money out. Well, here's the problem with that. If the dollar fell, then whatever you go get out as far as paper ain't going to be worth nothing. So I'm suggesting to you, maybe you need some hard assets, like some rental property, some notes, something that actually has value to it. Gold, silver. I mean, yeah, Bitcoin within reason. Matter of fact, if you're a crypto owner, like I am, you should not have more than 5% of your total wealth in crypto, whatever crypto it is, alt crypto, alternative crypto, or Bitcoin. So I'm saying to you a lot of different things, kicking out a lot of different ideas to you, because I want you to understand there's a lot of people out here on the internet talking about this and that and blah, blah, blah. And then when you look at them, they're just spitting out stuff that they learned from a book. I actually have practical knowledge. I worked at a bank. I work for insurance companies. I work for investment firms. I own a registered investment advisor firm, and I am an insurance agent, and I do financial planning. So with that said, I got some ideas about how I can help you. And one of those things is the financial positioning system. It is an accountability app for those people who want to be financially and physically responsible. Now, you'll notice I didn't say physical. I said physically, like the physical budget. And some of you don't have a budget, but you walk around like everything is cool. I'm telling you, most of you, not a lot of you, but most of you are good to go. I'm quite sure of that. But then there's a select few that you got more month than you do money. That means that you run out of money before the end of the month. Now, I've been there, and I'm not trying to shame you or make you feel guilty or make you feel any kind of way. But what I do know is that when you have your money set aside like that, and you have to worry about whether or not you're going to have enough money for the month, that's when you really got to look at, am I really prepared for everything that I got to do? So with that said, this is Mike Barnes, the financial first responder. I'm going to go in this gym because I started later today. I'm going to get my workout in, then I'm going to go back and do some work online. And I'm going to get consistent about being in this gym since I've been on vacation for 7 days. I consecutively did my workouts in Mexico at the Xcaret, Mexico. They had an awesome gym. My wife and I worked out every day. I did my 10,000 steps a day, but what I didn't do was I didn't control my eating and my drinking. The food was delicious. And because I had the all-inclusive plan, I could get whatever I wanted. And see, sometimes, I'm just going to say it like this. Sometimes, even if you have money, you need to put yourself on a budget. Maybe it's a food budget. Maybe it's a drinking budget. I did have, a couple of cigars. I enjoyed myself because it was my vacation. It was my birthday. And it was also a mastermind. So I was able to write off all that. See, now, I'll clue you in on that when you hit me in the DM and say, hey, I want to know how to write off my vacation. So the thing I'm saying to you is you need to take accountability of yourself. You need to do some things to change your life financially. We got 6 months left before the end of the year. And your goal should be make 2 times as much as you made last year. Like, wouldn't it be great if your business paid you exactly what you made from your job? Because then guess what? If somebody pisses you off at your job, you at least know you can make the money that you made at your job. And then you can be like, you know what? I'm retiring. I'm good. But for some of you, y'all are stuck on working for somebody. You are stuck on no exit plan, no succession plan, and no strategy. And I'm telling you, if you don't put in the DM that, hey, I want to do better, or that's me, or I want more out of life than what I got, you're going to stay in the same rut that you've been in. Now, I talked about financial rut yesterday, which was financially reasonable, unreasonable, time abound, which basically means that you're not taking your finances seriously. You think that you got enough time to get this money back. What you don't have is time. You can figure out ways to make money, but if you blow it, you're going to miss your greatest opportunity for retirement. And then you're going to be these people who made 6 and 7, sometimes 7 figures, and having to depend on Social Security. Because Social Security, in case you ain't figured it out, is a social program. Matter of fact, if you make too much money, they tax your Social Security at 85%. Did you know that? So, because they figure you don't need it. Now, I know most of y'all are like, well, I've been working all my life. I want my money. Well, that was only like 14% of your money. The social programs are meant for people who need the money. My goal in my life is not to need the Social Security because it's not guaranteed in the first place. So if I get it, then great. But if I don't get it, I'm financially set. That's what I do and work with clients to get them to do so that they don't have that issue. Look, this is Mike Barnes, the financial first responder. I'm getting ready to go hit this gym. I got legs to do today, so I'm not really motivated to do it, but I'm going to do it. And then I'm going to get back at what I need to do. Look, take care. Hit the link below. Like and subscribe. And I'll see you later. Barnes out. God bless. Financial first responder.